Hey guys, welcome back to Team 6K. This is Undead, and a Banlist dropped last night. So I'm not really doing a Banlist reaction video. You can watch any other Duel Links YouTuber, they're all going to do it. I'm mainly here to talk about all the implications of the Banlist. So I'm going to be talking about all of the meta decks that got hit, how they might be played going forward. Before I get into the big and deep stuff, I am going to talk real quick about my favorite deck here, Synchrons. So there were two pretty popular versions of Synchrons in the KC Cup, neither of which were anything like the one you see in front of you, one of which was a pure version that focused around turboing out shooting Quasar Dragon turn 1. And while yes, if you do that, you are going to pretty much win the game, the deck is pretty easy to interrupt if you happen to go first against it, so it's pretty hit or miss. It's also not impossible to break a Quasar board if you got a good enough hand. Like for example, you could just book it and then Nightmare Unicorn it, you know what I mean? And the other version was a Mekk-Knight version that basically took advantage of the skill. Maybe they would do a Synchron play, maybe they wouldn't. Regardless, they're probably going to be able to use the skill to get a continuous on the field to help them set up their columns, get their Mekk-Knight plays off, and if the opponent just so happened to interrupt them, or make it difficult for them to go for game, they could of course just use the skill, get rid of their monsters, and replace them with a couple of signers and attack for game that way. Pretty damn broken, did deserve to be hit on 100%. But as you can see in front of you, the version of the deck that I've been playing, which is much better in the long game, much harder to interrupt, is pretty much completely unhit. Not a single card in this deck has been hit. So if you want to learn how to play Synchrons moving forward after the ban list, go ahead and check out our Synchron guide video. One of the most impactful nerfs that we received on this ban list is the Mekk-Knight Purple Nightfall nerf. Purple Nightfall being limited to 3 means that it is competing with Mekk-Knight Blue Sky and World Legacy's Memory. We kind of really required the World Legacy's Memory to give us access to the Purple Nightfall, to give us that really good consistency. The fact that we have to choose between them now means that the deck is going to be a lot less consistent, but it might not be completely unplayable. One thing that you could do with the deck is you could just play the 2 Nightfall and the 1 blue, because of course we do need blue for the combo, and then you could just play more back row to keep yourself alive more, interrupt the opponent more, and to help you stall out until you draw into what you need to draw. The other thing you could potentially do is still play the 2 Nightfall and the 1 blue, but instead of playing more back row, you're playing more Mekk-Knights. That way it's going to be easier for you to open up a hand that you can still go into Mekk-Knight of the Morningstar. Of course, regardless of which version you might want to move forward with, you're not going to use Nightmare Corruptor Ibli. It also being limited to 3 means that pretty much Swap Cleric is the only valid option. The most impactful hit for any individual deck on this ban list was the semi-limiting of Void Feast. That means that our Void Vanishment, which is used to search for the Void Feast, is now competing with the Void Feast itself. The fact that we can't play both pretty much means the deck is pretty much dead. You could technically speaking play something like this. It's not going to be as powerful. It's definitely not going to be as consistent, but if you really want to keep playing Infernoids, something like this is probably what you're going to be looking for. But the fact that you can't consistently have access to your Void Feast anymore very much kills the deck. SalamanCoders Code Talkers is one of the weirdest hit decks on this ban list, because it looks like they want to actually support pure SalamanCoders and make it weird for you to play SalamanCoders Code Talkers because of the fact that they limited Signet Crosswipe alongside the already limited SalamanCoders Gazelle. The Gazelle is pretty important in the SalamanCoders combo, and the Signet Crosswipe is the interruption that the Code Talker side of the deck provides for you. So having to choose between those two is awkward, and if you felt like you could still play the deck without the crosswipe, you're still probably going to have to play without the Lady Debug. Because of it being limited to 3, which is actually fantastic for Code Talkers, we can't play it alongside the SalamanCoders Circle. And of course we would prefer to have the Circle, because a spell that searches a monster is better than a monster that searches a monster. However, if you really still felt like you wanted to play this version of the deck, then the way you might be playing it is likely to be looking something like this. Everything that the deck could do before, it could do now. However, there are a couple things missing, but the deck isn't completely dead. It's still pretty good, in fact. It's still got really damn good survivability. It can still interrupt the opponent with Firewall Dragon, and it still has a really insane follow-up play just by the virtue of being a SalamanCoders deck. Some people saying that DDD is better now than it was before, and technically speaking, that is true. They see that Kepler is now limited to 3, which means we can finally play 3 copies of it, and it won't be conflicting with the Dark Contract with the Gate, because the Dark Contract with the Gate is unlimited. However, DD Swirl Slime is still limited to 3, and it is still pretty much a mandatory one-of, although I miss the days that we could play 3 of it. Because of the fact that the Swirl Slime is still limited to 3, we still have to play 2 Kepler, even if we can play 3 Dark Contract with a Gate. If you're an old fan of the channel and you really like the Shooting Star Road version of Synchrons, which I still believe is very playable, unfortunately we will not be able to play Jet Synchron and Tuning in the same deck at the same level anymore. That definitely does make me a bit sad, because I do have prismatic tunings, I won't be able to really use them, but really I can just replace them with overtakes as you see here, and pretty much nothing's changed. It's just as good as it was before, just replacing the tuning with the synchro overtake, which is fine because we do have 2 Junk Warrior to reveal. So if you're interested after the ban list in seeing pure SalamanCoders and Black Wings being revitalized, be sure to let me know in the comments and I'll make advanced guides on them. So there are some things on the ban list I didn't mention, and that's pretty much because I don't really feel like they're relevant. Either the unhits basically didn't do anything for the deck, like Onishi being put from limited 3 to unlimited doesn't really make that much of a difference. All it means is that 6 Samurai can now play those limited 3 traps. Karakuri having their double summon unlimited doesn't really make a difference because they still have other key starters that are not unlimited yet. Having Vision Hero Vion unlimited is also not that big of a deal because hero decks aren't even really playing it anymore. But if you want to see videos on any of those, or just anything in general, be sure to leave it in the comments and we'll look into it. This is kind of a new kind of content on this channel. We haven't really talked that deeply about ban lists before, and I find it a little bit tacky to do like a fake ban list review, you know what I mean? Like looking at the ban list and pressing the record button and pretending to be surprised at everything that you see on the screen. I don't really want to do that with you guys. But let me know how you guys feel about this kind of content in the comments below. Let me know how you guys feel about this ban list. I've been Undead from Team 6K, signing out.
Hey, why they gotta hate on me? I done got me 250,000 views and they still saying they low key. They ain't wanna come work with the kid, but I'm flexing with Zay on beats. How they ask for a spot at the gym, but they leave all the weight on me. I don't ask them to wait on me. They would ask where they gon' be with a song if they wanted the weatherman. I ain't ask them to pay no fees. She was homeless and needed a spot. I ain't ask her to pay no lease. I ain't ask her to say no please. I ain't ask her to make no cheese. Scream fake, but it ain't on me. Got clean so it ain't no streets. Why green if it ain't no keeps? Brought cream so it ain't no beef. My team say it ain't no chief. My demon they hang on me. They seemingly ain't no peace. I seen him, he ain't no beast.